Angela Deem's story on 90 Day Fiance started like many reality TV romances do, with an age gap love story that seemed messy but entertaining. What nobody could have predicted at the time was just how dramatically that storyline would escalate. Over the course of her many appearances across the franchise, Angela went from a loud, temperamental character into one of the most universally criticized cast members the show has ever had. Her downfall wasn't random or sudden. It was the result of years of destructive behavior, emotional outbursts, obsessive control, invasive monitoring, humiliating arguments, and moments that crossed clear boundaries on national television. And as the seasons went on, the audience slowly shifted from laughing at the insanity to recognizing something darker happening in front of the cameras. If Angela once represented the unhinged but entertaining side of the franchise, her later years became a slow-motion collapse that fans could see coming long before she did. Angela first entered the franchise in 2018 on Before the 90 Days, Season 2. She was a 52-year-old grandmother from Georgia who had been talking online with a 30-year-old man from Nigeria named Michael Ailesanmi. Their 22-year age gap made the story instantly eye-catching, and TLC leaned into that dynamic heavily, presenting them as a couple trying to bridge extreme cultural and generational differences. But very quickly, viewers realized that the age gap was only an entry point. The real heart of their drama was Angela's personality. Fiery, reactive, deeply suspicious, and determined to monitor every single thing Michael did. From their first meeting, the tension between them was obvious. Angela didn't just get jealous, she reacted to any potential insecurity by asserting control, raising her voice, and demanding transparency from Michael, in a way most viewers found uncomfortable from day one. Their scenes together often felt like a series of emotional roller coasters, and instead of calming down as they spent more time together, their relationship spiraled in the opposite direction. Michael, who wanted a future in America and hoped the relationship would eventually bring him there, did what many people in vulnerable immigration situations do. He tolerated far more than he should have. Angela's outbursts became a pattern the audience recognized immediately. She would explode over misunderstandings, yell in public, storm away dramatically, and then return expecting complete forgiveness without taking responsibility for anything she had said or done. And while some viewers found her antics funny in the early stages, others quickly saw the imbalance developing between them. Michael was often soft-spoken, patient, and conflict avoidant, creating a dynamic where Angela's volatility dominated every scene. One of the first moments that revealed the true nature of their relationship happened in Nigeria during a night out where Angela believed Michael had lied to her. Instead of discussing the issue calmly, she went to drink alone and built herself up emotionally. When Michael tried to talk to her at the bar, Angela lashed out publicly, yelling at him and throwing the drink he brought her. She told him to gather his things and leave her room, announcing their breakup in the middle of a crowded space.
I don't want your fucking coke.
See, the situation on, I don't know why you are.
You fuck away from me. Get, Michael,
Angie,
I'm going to hit you right in your
listen.
mouth.
You don't have to do all this.
Bitch, get your shit. Get out of my room.
Michael's humiliation was visible, and the moment stunned even long-time reality TV viewers. The outburst didn't just show anger. It showed a complete lack of respect, and that disrespect became a defining part of their relationship. Soon after, the now iconic cake scene aired. Michael, trying to mend their relationship, brought a cake to the salon where Angela was getting her hair done because he knew she loved sweets and wanted to lighten the mood. Instead, she immediately began yelling when she saw him. And when he tried to speak, she grabbed the cake and smashed it directly into his face in front of cameras.
No, Michael, that's not going to work. I'm embarrassed that you come up here. I'm already upset.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, you're not sorry. There's your cake, Michael. That doesn't work this time.
That scene spread across social media instantly, but not because it was funny reality TV. Many viewers pointed out that if the genders were reversed, the show would never air it as entertainment. The moment became symbolic. Angela didn't de-escalate conflict, she escalated it into humiliation, and Michael absorbed the consequences every single time. Around this same period, Angela went to a lawyer to draft a will before marrying Michael, and the meeting unintentionally revealed even deeper distrust. She told the lawyer openly that she wanted her grandchildren to inherit everything. She felt uneasy about the idea of Michael having any claim to her assets if she died. The lawyer explained that marriage legally binds assets unless otherwise stated, and Angela immediately insisted on dividing property in a way that kept Michael on the sidelines. The entire scene exposed the foundation of their relationship. Angela was marrying a man she didn't trust financially, emotionally, or logistically. Yet she expected complete loyalty and obedience from him. But if distrust had already poisoned their connection, social media turned it into a war zone. Angela became obsessed with Michael's online presence. She demanded he delete Instagram entirely, claiming he was using it to flirt or talk to other women. Her arguments about this topic weren't occasional. They became a running theme across multiple seasons. She checked his phone obsessively, demanded login access, and treated every notification as potential cheating. Meanwhile, Michael explained that he wanted to grow an online presence because Angela prevented him from getting a job. Even then, Angela dismissed his goals and treated his desire for independence as disrespect. This digital tension escalated into one of the most disturbing moments of the entire franchise. Without Michael's knowledge, Angela booked a flight to Nigeria and showed up at his home late at night, unannounced, with her friend. She arrived screaming his name, banging on doors and windows, and waking neighbors. When Michael didn't come outside fast enough, Angela began destroying his property. She ripped pieces off his car, removed license plates, and screamed that she had the right to do it because she had helped pay for it. The destruction was aggressive enough that local neighbors gathered around.
I'm out! She's How about that? Taking your car apart! My car. Michael! Come on, Michael! I paid for this car. Tell him I'll break the windows next.
And when Michael finally returned home, he was furious. His brother had to physically restrain him as Angela continued screaming. This wasn't a lover's quarrel anymore. It was property destruction and intimidation filmed in real time. TLC was openly airing abuse. When they tried discussing the situation at a restaurant later on, the conflict simply repeated itself. Angela demanded Michael hand over his phone, accusing him of talking to other women. He held onto his belongings because he knew she would dig through everything without boundaries. Angela escalated the argument until she walked out again.
Take that bitch down, Michael. I'm getting on that plane.
Have a seat. Let's discuss. Come on. You've said what you want
I
to say.
have.
We don't talk.
Just pull up your goddamn phone
For what?
so I can look at it. I'm your wife. Let me see it. Put that phone in my purse and
For
we'll
what?
talk.
But the deeper issue wasn't the individual fight. It was the pattern emerging from all their interactions. Communication wasn't mutual. It was controlled. Michael wasn't allowed to have any privacy, opinions, or boundaries without triggering Angela's anger. Even more bizarre was the tarot reading Angela arranged to get clarity about their relationship. Instead of approaching the session with openness, Angela interpreted every card as proof that Michael was doing something wrong. When the tarot reader mentioned Michael needing emotional space, Angela spun that into another meltdown, demanding to know why he needed space at all if he had married her. Michael calmly mentioned forgiveness, surprising both Angela and the tarot reader, but Angela dismissed his attempt at peace and ended the session dramatically. Their scenes together often resembled a loop. Angela exploded. Michael tried to explain. Angela overwhelmed the moment with more accusations, and then the cycle restarted. Angela's medical issues intensified everything. When she traveled for surgery and recovery, she expected Michael to be constantly available. If he didn't respond quickly enough or seemed distracted, she accused him of not caring about her health. Instead of communicating her fears or feelings, she used the situation to guilt-trip him and test his loyalty. Each medical update became another opportunity for her to argue, accuse, and berate him.
Hello?
Oh, he's up. Michael, I'm just calling to let you know that I don't appreciate how you treated me since I've been in surgery.
Yeah, at least I called you when you were
Okay.
before your surgery, and I called you even while.
Let me tell you really what went on. You mistreated me for months. I would
treat you.
sat there and in a room while your wife could be dying. You're such a child that I feel plumb dirty being with you.
Even during these vulnerable health moments, she didn't soften. She weaponized her fear into control. Soon, Angela's invasiveness reached full surveillance mode. She started trying to hack Michael's WhatsApp. She demanded he turn on live location tracking so she could follow his movements. She insisted she had the right to access every part of his digital life. Michael, emotionally exhausted, attempted to push back, but each attempt resulted in Angela raising her voice, calling him names, and belittling him until he shut down again. Her inability to self-regulate became more obvious with each season, and viewers increasingly questioned how the relationship could continue functioning at all. Angela's controlling habits didn't calm down once Michael finally made it to America. If anything, they leveled up. It was like the moment his plane touched US soil, she decided this was her chance to run a full-time surveillance program out of her living room. Instead of giving him space to adjust to a brand new country, new culture, new everything, Angela practically treated his arrival like she had imported a new appliance that needed constant monitoring. She started micromanaging his day, his schedule, his conversations, and basically every breath he took. Reports eventually came out saying Angela didn't even want Michael getting a job right away. She told people she wanted him to focus on adjusting and earning her trust, which sounds sweet until you realize what that actually meant in practice. It meant no independence, no income, no outside connections, and absolutely no life outside the four walls of Angela's house. He became completely financially dependent on her, which gave her even more control. And socially, he might as well have been living on an island. She allegedly discouraged him from forming friendships with other Nigerians in the area, and she didn't like him interacting with other cast members either. Basically, the only person Michael was allowed to lean on was Angela, the same person who was also his biggest source of stress. Michael even described his emotions during that time as a mix of nervous, happy, anxious, overwhelmed, and everything in between. And honestly, it makes sense. Imagine finally getting to America after years of visa struggles and then realizing the fresh start you dreamed of is actually a tighter cage. Even the simplest things turned into arguments. Casual outings became negotiation sessions. Angela reportedly didn't want him leaving the house alone because she said she needed to make sure he was safe or knew where he was at all times. But let's be real. This wasn't about safety. This was about control. What started as, "I just want to know you're okay," slowly turned into, "You need to tell me everywhere you're going, who you're with, why you're there, and how fast you're breathing while you're doing it." Then came the phone monitoring. This woman allegedly checked everything: his texts, his call logs, his social media, probably his screen time if she could. Angela kept justifying it by bringing up old fights or moments where Michael had flirted online in the past. To her, that meant she had every right to watch him like a security camera. But anyone with basic common sense pointed out that Angela wasn't reacting to actual current behavior. She was reacting to her own paranoia. Her insecurities basically became Michael's daily environment. And instead of working on rebuilding trust, she doubled down on surveillance, convinced that she could force loyalty by restricting his freedom. At a certain point, it didn't look like a marriage anymore. It looked like Michael was living under a set of rules where any mistake, even a tiny one, became proof that Angela's control was justified, and that cycle, once it started, only got worse with time. By February 2024, barely 2 months after finally arriving in the United States, Michael made the one move no one expected, but everyone eventually understood. He left Angela's Georgia home without warning. At first, social media exploded with confusion. Angela was posting teary TikToks claiming he had vanished. People on Reddit were debating whether he'd been kidnapped, and tabloids published dramatic headlines like he was some sort of missing celebrity. But the truth came out fast. Michael hadn't disappeared. He had escaped, quietly, strategically, and for the first time in years, entirely on his own terms. As more details surfaced, the picture became painfully clear. According to leaked insider reports and statements from local law enforcement, Michael had reached a breaking point. He wasn't just overwhelmed or unhappy. He was reportedly afraid that Angela's behavior was spiraling into something unpredictable and dangerous. Multiple insiders claimed that the shouting and intimidation at home had escalated. Some even alleged that objects were being thrown during arguments. Others said Michael wasn't allowed access to his own immigration paperwork or finances, leaving him with no independence and no way to protect himself. It painted a picture of someone trapped in a relationship where every part of his life was monitored, controlled, or restricted. Leaving under those circumstances wasn't just dramatic, it was brave. Michael had already spent 5 long years enduring emotional chaos, insults, humiliation, and constant accusations because he genuinely wanted a future together. He pushed through the hardest parts of their long-distance relationship. He did the paperwork, the interviews, the waiting, He had sacrificed more than people realized. And when he finally arrived in the United States, instead of the stability he'd hoped for, he found a situation that was unbearable. His decision to walk away was heartbreaking, but also incredibly powerful. It told the entire fanbase what words never could. Whatever love story people believed in was long gone. Michael was choosing survival over romantic fantasy. Angela handled the situation exactly as anyone who watched the show would expect. She immediately jumped online, crying, yelling, flipping between anger and heartbreak in the span of a few hours. She posted emotional TikToks claiming betrayal, insisting Michael used her for a green card and warning that he'd be going home soon. It was pure damage control mixed with classic Angela dramatics. But this time the reaction was different. The narrative didn't fall in her favor. For many fans, the moment Michael left was the moment the truth snapped into place. They had watched him endure so much over the years that his escape felt less like abandonment and more like a long overdue rescue mission. Things only got worse for Angela during the tell-all specials. Angela loved to make dramatic entrances, showing up late and preparing herself for maximum attention. She clashed with other cast members, flipped people off, and turned every conversation into an argument. Her feud with Usman became legendary, simply because she couldn't tolerate anyone who challenged her behavior. But nothing compared to her interaction with Michael's Aunt Lydia. During a tell-all, Lydia appeared via video call and told Angela that she didn't need surgeries to be beautiful. Instead of appreciating the gentle comment, Angela took it as a personal insult and launched into a rage-filled attack. Michael tried to defend his aunt, and Angela responded by doing something that shocked everyone. She flashed Lydia, twice, on camera, in front of the entire cast.
Listen to what she's saying.
I have respect for your husband.
I respect you. You mind your own business. You will not tell my husband what to do. These brand new.
Stop it. What's all this now?
How do you like that now?
It was one of the most inappropriate and unhinged moments in franchise history. And things only got worse when on a tell-all episode, Angela revealed she'd hired a private investigator. In the most Angela move possible, she admitted on camera that she'd hired a Nigerian-based PI to track Michael's every move. She proudly explained that she had a full team working to dig into his life, pull old social media activity, look at messages, and basically treat her husband like he was a fugitive on the run. Instead of attempting therapy or communication, Angela committed to full surveillance mode. Fans were stunned but not surprised. The investigator eventually presented her with a 189-page report full of details from Michael's online activity. But when the tell-all host directly asked whether there was any evidence that Michael had cheated, the PI said no. No proof, no suspicious conversations, no secret girlfriend, nothing.
I've got 160 pages of reports. To answer your question directly, no, there's not.
Okay.
Good.
I don't care. I don't care. You said talk. What did you even do? So tell me.
And of course, Angela refused to accept that. She insisted the PI must have missed something, claimed Michael was manipulating everyone, and stormed off the stage to avoid hearing anything that didn't fit her narrative. Her behavior during these moments didn't just raise eyebrows, it confirmed what viewers had suspected for years. Angela wasn't searching for truth, she was searching for justification. She wanted proof that Michael was the villain, so she didn't have to face the reality of her own behavior. When June 2024 arrived, the situation shifted from personal drama to full legal warfare. Angela filed for an annulment, accusing Michael of fraud. She claimed he had never loved her, had used her for a green card, and had tricked her into marriage for immigration benefits. In her mind, every moment they shared had been a performance. But Michael hit back fast, with a divorce filing instead of an annulment. He argued that he had entered the marriage in good faith, that he truly cared for Angela, and that he had endured years of emotional abuse and manipulation. His legal filings painted a stark contrast to Angela's claims. He described a relationship filled with isolation, unpredictable anger, public humiliation, and threats that left him mentally exhausted. Then things took a shocking turn. Angela went public, claiming Michael had drained her bank accounts before he left. She said he emptied her accounts and took money that wasn't his. But Michael came prepared. His legal team provided receipts showing he had actually sent Angela over $200,000 throughout their 5-year relationship. Money from his family, personal savings, and work back in Nigeria. According to him, that money helped pay for everything from visa fees to household bills to Angela's cosmetic surgeries. Suddenly, Angela's accusation didn't seem as straightforward as she wanted people to believe. Court proceedings hinted that Michael might be legally entitled to half of Angela's marital assets. Michael potentially had the right to claim 50% of what they owned as a married couple. Insiders said the court was taking his abuse allegations seriously and reviewing whether Angela's behavior contributed to his decision to leave. The fan reaction was explosive. Michael's escape lit the entire fandom on fire. Reddit threads, TikTok comments, and Instagram reels turned into full support campaigns. Hashtags like Free Michael, Justice for Michael, and Angela is the problem circulated everywhere. People pulled old clips of Angela screaming at him, mocking him, throwing things at him, and humiliating him in public. Comments poured in saying they were relieved he finally got away, calling Angela's behavior abusive and demanding TLC remove her from the franchise permanently. Cast members like Kobe publicly defended Michael, saying what viewers had been thinking for years. Angela was drowning online. Petition after petition called for her removal from the 90-day universe. Fans pointed out the obvious double standard. If a male cast member treated his wife the way Angela treated Michael, he'd be fired immediately. Many said TLC kept her around because drama equals ratings, not because it was acceptable behavior. People brought up the cake incident, the car destruction, the screaming, the cheating accusations, and the tell-all where she exposed herself to Michael's elderly aunt. Everything was resurfaced, nothing was forgotten. Michael, on the other hand, seemed to be thriving. Photos surfaced of him in Texas, smiling, making new friends, attending community events, and looking like someone who finally got to breathe. His body language was different, lighter, calmer, more confident. It was clear that for the first time in years, he wasn't living under constant pressure. Michael claims his green card is good for 10 years, and Angela went full Angela. After months of silence, she popped back up on social media with a new man. Suddenly, she was posting TikToks with someone else, laughing, flirting, trying to reinvent herself as the misunderstood woman who was finally moving on. The internet collectively rolled their eyes. Fans accused her of trying to distract from her behavior by jumping into a rebound situationship, and the backlash didn't slow down. People called her desperate, manipulative, and incapable of taking responsibility for her actions. She kept posting emotional videos, claiming the show was scripted and edited to make her look bad, but fans weren't having it. Everything she was being criticized for, she had done openly on camera. No editing needed. She teased interviews, threatened legal action against TLC, and tried to rally supporters. But it didn't work. Rumors spread that TLC had quietly cut ties with her. Once the face of the franchise, Angela was now being pushed out, overshadowed by the very man she once tried to control. And with Michael building a peaceful life in Texas, the contrast between them was undeniable. Her return with a new man may have given her something to talk about, but she lost nearly everything else. Her reputation, her platform, and the sympathy of viewers who once found her entertaining. Her downfall wasn't just predictable, it was earned.